The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning and welcome to Guardian Radio AM. Today is Tuesday, February 18th. Today is launch day, and all kind of people is up in arms about the Bahamas partnering with SpaceX. I'm kind of excited. I'm trying to see the opportunities, but there are a number of people who are concerned, and I'm saying, hey, voice your concerns, and then we'll have the group that has been assembled answer and show that the concerns are not warranted. Today's show is being sponsored by Click, right? Click invites you to their Victory Fest 2025. Join us on Saturday, March 1 at Smuggler Square for an epic celebration of the 2024 Boxing Day and 2025 New Year's Day Junk Canoe winners, the Saxton Superstars. The junk canoe season may be over, but the celebration is just getting started. Enjoy music by Playhouse DJs, Lil Giant, Anshaw, and D-Mac. Let's celebrate the 4 straight junk canoe winners, Saxon Superstars. And that is who today's show is being sponsored by. Click, right? So, I was listening to you whilst I was driving up, Aaron, and you seemed to be up in arms about our new tourism venture. Money is being made. Our Ministry of Tourism has seized the opportunity to associate the Bahamas' name with SpaceX. SpaceX is the future. The Starlink thing where they launching and putting up all kind of satellites is where the world is being geared towards. There are a number of people who are hearing the Bahamas' name being mentioned every time SpaceX is being mentioned. We are now a part associated with their name. It lands in the Bahamas, someplace. We're still deliberating on where it's landing. I'm not sure. You were saying east of Exuma, and I was saying west of Exuma.
Wherever the Atlantic Ocean is?
The Atlantic Ocean all over. We are in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
It on the eastern side.
No, but the Atlantic Ocean is also on the western side.
But do they have the depths referenced in the article, man?
When you leave the Bahamas, there is the Atlantic Ocean that we enter heading towards the United States and the Americas. There's a big ocean there. In between the space of when you leave the Bahamas and go on the international ocean. The tongue of the ocean is on the eastern side. No, the tongue of the ocean is on the western side of Andros. That's a deep
Mr. Newry, they're not landing that rocket in the middle of the Bahamian archipelago.
I thought it's landing in the ocean, the international side, but not on the eastern side, but on the western side. I don't know anymore.
You know what an archipelago is?
Yeah.
And you know what I mean when I say outside the archipelago?
I understand. But see, there's international...
Is Exuma not in the archipelago?
Yeah, but there's international waters on both sides. There's international waters on the western side, and there's international waters on the eastern side. Yeah.
Is Exuma a part of the Bahamian territory? There are passages where the channels that international boats move through.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that that's international territory.
I understand. Well, perhaps that needs to be explained more. But the thing is, they're no longer landing the Falcon 9 in the Atlantic Ocean. That was the appeal. It's no longer landed in the Atlantic Ocean. They say they're landing within the Bahamas. That's the marketing concept. So if you're landing...
I don't want to talk about it anymore. You realize that nothing you said just now makes sense?
I just say that's what they said.
Nothing makes sense.
But they said...
I don't want to talk about it. It does not make sense, Mr. Newry.
They say that you're no longer landing in the Atlantic Ocean. They're landing within the Bahamas. So I assume that would be on the western side.
I pulling up the article.
Yeah,
I'm pulling
see
up the
if it's
article from February
on
the
west
14th.
or the east. I thought, and especially when you mention places like Grand Bahama, right? You assume it's going to be on the western side. That's why they could able to see it. And then Cape Canaveral on
They
the
must have been referencing, just to talk about the western side of Grand Bahama, they must have been referencing the takeoff.
You know, they also mentioned
launch.
You know, they also mentioned Florida, that you can see
Those,
it.
those parts of that article must be referencing observation of the launch and not necessarily observation of the landing. If the people go into Norman's Key to watch the launch, you telling me that the people on the west end of Grand Bahama could see the same thing the people going to Norman's Key could see, but nobody referenced that the people in New Providence could see it too?
Yeah. But Norman's Key is booked out. I'm not sure if you know any narrative of Norman's Key.
Man, I searched just now. I couldn't even figure out how many hotels, Airbnbs, small resorts.
Only one hotel in Norman's Key.
Or beds on Norman's Key.
There's only one hotel in Norman's
Okay,
Key.
I found the article, Mr. Newry. All systems go. DPM says safeguards are in place.
See, all the safeguards are in place. Why are you environmental?
Why are you still talking foolishness?
All the safeguards is there. I just read it.
You read
just
the
said it.
EIA?
You just mentioned.
Did you read the EIA to juxtapose what was shared in this article?
What
All
are you
systems
trying to
go.
suggest?
DPM says safeguards
in place.
as Bahamas set for as many as 20 SpaceX rocket landings in 2025. First things first.
Yes.
We don't have a DPM. Second thing, why wouldn't the Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation be making this statement?
And that's a DPM,
Third
yeah?
thing, why wasn't a representative from the Department of Environmental Planning and Protection making the statement? I just don't understand.
They are all a part of that committee that came together to negotiate on our behalf. And also the astronaut lady. They all came together and make a decision. But regarding the environmental impact, right? Environmental impact is how it impacts the environment, right? I'm not sure if the craft is landing in the water or on land.
It's on the pad.
So there's no environmental impact unless it goes into the
The
water.
ocean is not.
It's not going into the
The
ocean.
air is not a part of the environment.
Well, I'm not sure we have the expertise into.
This is your show, right?
No, but I'm asking.
I can't say stop it.
I
can't say stop it on. You're not going to say stop it on your show. Let me read from the article.
One more point.
Yeah.
You mentioned the air round. I'm not sure if we've had anyone measure the air route, because we know now it's not going to impact the ocean. I know technically at this present time, and it's not going to impact the land. So you now mentioned the air around as your concern. I'm not sure if we have anyone who does that at this present time.
Air quality monitoring. You don't think we have any environmentalists who are
Remember,
able?
with our carbon, that's where the ocean is and the seaweed. That's what it does. It pulls out those emissions.
Only
I'm just saying.
CO2 with the carbon.
I'm just saying. I hear your concern, but I'm trying to enunciate what your concern is, because everyone mentions environmental impact, and I say, which environmental impact are you
Mr.
concerned
Newry,
with?
you just said to me the thing don't land on land.
It
So
doesn't land
what
on land.
environment are we concerned about?
No, I'm asking.
Repeat what you did say.
I'm asking. It's not landed in the ocean.
Right.
It's not landed on the land.
It's landing on a
Platform.
an autonomous platform in the ocean.
Yes. And now I'm saying, when you mention environmental impact, of the environment you want to measure, because you can't study the water and you can't study the land.
Why can't you study the land? You don't think it's possible that the water can
Anything is
become
possible.
contaminated?
Anything is possible, but when you're doing the impact, right? You have to study the water.
I need you to run in the next election so I could talk to you bad. Because
No,
at this moment,
I'm only asking questions.
you asking foolish. I'm not
No, I'm
even
only
entertaining.
asking
You
questions.
said to me the booster lands on an autonomous pad
Yes.
on top of the water. So these requests, the critical interrogation about environmental impact assessments and environmental management plans,
Yes.
that the whole conversation is moot because it
No, I'm
obviously
not
doesn't
suggesting
impact
that.
the environment.
I'm asking, what part of the environment are we want to study on? And you
So
mentioned air.
we want to study potential contaminants introduced to the water. We want to study whether we measure any significant increase in ocean temperature, in salinity, in acidity, right? We need to monitor air quality. We know that water impacts the land that it touches. So if there's a problem in the water, the islands around it may be impacted by those same contaminants in the water. We only thinking about air pollution in terms of humans, but what will the impact, like the article I read said that we may hear sonic booms. How will that impact the birds and marine life in the general vicinity, right? Then what if there is an accident and the booster does not land on the pad, but it lands in the ocean?
No booster will land on the pad.
Man, listen, you with autonomous drone machine class, you been to Newry?
You have ever heard any booster not landing on the pad? Just asking.
I'm just saying to you, sir, let me read from this letter from Dr. Ancelino Davis, where he reminds us that in January, there was an explosion over the Turks and Caicos.
That's an explosion now. And that wasn't landed. That wasn't even landing in any place. That was in the air. Now, I appreciate the reference, Turks and Caicos advisory, because we need to read that Turks and Caicos advisory so people can appreciate what the British system is doing in contrast to the Bahamas system, right? So I want to read that into the record so we all can appreciate and say, okay, I see what the British system, and we can compare and contrast. There was an explosion. There was no landing or anything. We need to understand now and appreciate moving forward in the Caribbean, if there's an explosion by a spaceship, how will it impact the Bahamas? That's something separate from this landing, right? What happens if there's an explosion not happen?
You just broke my brain.
Yeah, I just want
My brain just broke listening
I just
to
want to
that.
know what happens.
Nope.
The one with the Turks and Caicos was not even no place near Turks and Caicos, and there was an explosion. There was an explosion.
Well, if it wasn't near Turks and Caicos, how did debris fell on Turks and Caicos, Mr. Newry?
It's space. What in the air, in the sky, got to come down. It got to come down.
Is that not the point that I'm making?
Yeah. But
okay, I just wanted to know.
My point is that can happen no matter what.
Exactly.
No matter what, even if
exactly.
So we need to consider what happens there.
We need to consider that even before we formally contracted this relationship with SpaceX, even though the risk existed, we still didn't create any contingency plans. And now that we have a formal contractual relationship with people who is fly rocket and land rocket, you telling me, don't even worry about it. We didn't need a plan before. Why do we need a plan now?
So you are lobbying for a contingency plan?
No, I'm lobbying you for you to stop talking about this because you ain't making any sense, Mr. Newry.
I want to talk about the contingency plan and make a list of all of the concerns, and we could put it forward to the group of experts who the government has put together. All they have environmentalists like Alcinino Davis on this committee, and put it forward to them.
Do you
and say,
think Davis is on this committee?
No, they have his boss. His boss is on it. The one who above him. They put them all in the committee, right? And then you could put these questions to them and say, these are our concerns. Can you answer these things? Instead of raising the alarm without coming together and saying, these are the concerns, right? Because we have experts, people we hire to do these things.
The experts who were not consulted.
We have
experts who were not consulted anywhere in the process.
I'll tell your boss was consulted. He needed to inbox that lady and say, why you won't tell me you ready? Get the answer. And then he would have known he was not included because she didn't want to include him. But they was consulted.
You watch Marvel or DC Comics?
All
You
the
watch
time.
it on the movies?
Yeah.
So you familiar with with the phrase origin of my villain story?
Yes.
Yeah. It's today, Newry. It's
your
today.
villain.
It's today.
The villain.
I start today. Because since we all just gonna pander to foolishness. I mean, we got people who are identified as local experts.
Local experts on the committee.
Right? Talking about how unreasonable people are being. And I wonder if they've read the environmental impact assessment.
I don't know. The phone lines are busy. I just say it's a great opportunity for the Bahamas to be.
It's a great opportunity because now I know I can catch a ride on a spaceship. I'm starting my villain story today.
Imagine when we have to leave this earth and you say, boy, now we get connection because the Bahamas was in. Anyway, let's go to the first call. Go ahead, caller. Guardian Radio AM. Good morning to you. You're kind of muffled, so try. See, you're kind of muffled, so try your best to talk.
Oh, I'm muffled.
Yes, ma'am.
It sounds like you have water in your line.
But I was not able to get through.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Pause. We remember the call. We are having great difficulty hearing you. It sounds like you have water in your telephone line.
Oh, my Lord.
So when you hung up, when the call got disconnected yesterday, Mr. Newry read off the other numbers to call. So I'm going to read them off right now in case it's our phone line that's the problem and not your phone line, eh?
Okay.
323-6232. 325-4316.
325-4316.
16. Or 325
325
4259.
4259.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me try the other number.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Kermit, let's go to the next caller for me. Go ahead, caller. Can you hear us?
Good morning, Mr. Newry and Mr. Screen.
Good morning.
Yes, see, I'm siding with Ms. Green here, and I just want to make this quick input, and I want you guys to never forget this. You know, we are all naive, and as Negroes, we just are too trusting. Okay, the environmental impact assessment, just be real. It's only an assessment, and even if it's computer simulated, it's only an assessment for right then and then. It's not post-landing or post-project or any event that you're doing. So let's say we're dredging the harbor, and we see the subsequent flooding of downtown through the displacement, right? I mean, so which is it? What I'm saying is, you don't have any data for anything, any concentration levels of anything that Erin was saying she was concerned about as far as in the sea and the air, et cetera. So how could you then, if you did not do any data research pro, then how can you do it post? So a real environmental impact assessment will take place before and after. I just thought I would share that because I'm hearing a lot of imbecility.
Let's go move on to the next call right there. Like I said, this is an opportunity for the Bahamas. We now associate ourselves with SpaceX. We need to now consider the impact. And I'm cool with the concerns, you know.
Who's paying the insurance? How is it being insured?
With a $1 billion they self-insured. Like how the government is self-insured. For hurricanes, it's self-insured. It's a $1 trillion place. It's self-insured.
I calling on the whole of St. Barnabas Church family to pray for me right now. I slipping
That's
into my villain.
self-insured.
I slipping into my villain era right now, Mr. Newry.
Let's go to the next caller. Go ahead, caller. Can you hear us?
Hello?
Hi.
Could you hear me any better?
No, but I'll let you go ahead. Continue.
Keep going.
Keep on
Yeah,
going.
but I want you to hear me. So
Yeah, there may be something with your line, ma'am. It sounds like there's water in the line. And I know in 2025 that sounds absolutely ridiculous for somebody to say about our premier telecommunication service providers. Yeah.
my dear,
Yes,
we have plenty problems with BBC.
Yes, ma'am.
With BP, whatever, anyhow, telco.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Go ahead. I try my best to see what you say. You still there?
No, I think she
Okay.
indicated that what she has to say is so important. She wants to ensure that she's very, very clear and can be heard clearly when she's speaking. Mr. Newry, I am going through this article, right? The one that was posted on Valentine's Day. All systems go. DPM said, the day before Valentine's Day, DPM says safeguards in place. And I was almost certain that that is the article that outlined the geographical location and the boundaries, right? Ship station 17 nautical miles away will hear what she described as, quote, 2 claps of thunder with sound diminishing further over distance. She added that the drone ship will land on a tugboat in waters more than 3,000 feet deep. This point here. Do we have waters more than 3,000 feet deep inside the archipelago that's not the tongue of the ocean?
On the boat on the western.
3,000 feet
When
deep
you
near
leave-
Exumas.
When you leave the Bahamas heading towards the Americas, you'll have that length.
How close to Exuma is it?
I'm not sure. It's in the middle of the ocean, man. But go ahead.
Say that again. It's in the middle of the what?
Be in the middle of the ocean.
Okay. Here we go. She added the drone ship will land on a tugboat in waters more than 3,000 feet deep and will be guided by GPS. She emphasized that the process is fully automated, meaning no crew members will be on board to manually direct the landing. And yet I cannot find in this article, it may be here and I'm missing it, the the declaration of location, specific location, and the boundaries, like how close can ships get to the landing zone. There we go. Dr. Neely Murphy explained that within a 10 nautical mile radius of the landing site, the impact will produce a noise similar to 2 gunshots. And a 5 to 10 nautical mile. Okay, and they have confirmed that a 5 to 10 nautical mile safety perimeter will be enforced around the landing site, with the RBDF managing traffic and security control.
Who pays the RBDEF? Or they just happen to be patrolling that area? Or because they patrol in this area, shouldn't that like how the staff association, you hire special staff and they get paid separate? I'm just asking.
You remember when the Kenyans pledged to send all kinds of soldiers to Haiti? Mm-hmm. Like, hey, hold on, we didn't even read the Constitution. We didn't even realize we couldn't send soldiers to Haiti, so we're going to send some police as well. Them same boy working in this office.
Okay.
Not the EPP.
Yeah, that's it.
Not them.
Anyway,
Not them.
you finish that? So.
Oh, you want me to read the thing from
No.
Turks and
No.
Caicos?
Turks and Caicos. Read that.
All right.
So I could change subject.
So this is from the National Security Secretariat. Turks and Caicos Islands Government, SpaceX Incident Public Advisory Number 4. Recovery Plan.
Recovery plan.
Providenciales, Turks and Caicos Islands, Tuesday the 28th of January 2025. A Turks and Caicos Islands, and so that would be 9 days after the incident. A Turks and Caicos Islands Government Disaster Management Team alongside UK, like with DRA. Mm-hmm. Have we heard anything from DRA?
No, I haven't heard.
Are they on call in case
they
there
are
is?
part of the committee.
Where'd you read that?
No, in the initial day.
Where did you read
No,
that?
I saw that.
Where? Just tell me where you saw
I'm
it.
sure when the first press release come out, they
See,
give
because
lists of
I
the thing.
assumed that DRA would be a part of it.
Yeah.
The same way I assumed that there was an EIA and EMP, and the people who were calling environmentalists and people who were concerned, like frivolous and, like that they would have read the EIA and based their assessments of people's concerns on that. That didn't happen either. Alongside UK Air Accidents and Investigation Branch, AAIB, met with representatives from SpaceX on Saturday, the 25th of January, to develop a recovery plan for debris that landed through TCI following the SpaceX incident. So we ain't half bad. We ain't half bad. They didn't have a recovery plan before the launch, before the thing either. See, because they talk about a space coast and a path, and they know the paths that these rockets and boosters will take. They know these things. And I mean, you think nobody told Turks and Caicos, hey, FYI, just in case you didn't know, you kind of like in the path of this thing. And if there is an accident, like if there's a mishap, if the GPS goes wrong, that it's possible that this thing could be over your island. I just saying. And so I'm not that mad because Turks didn't have a plan either. TCIG representatives included Department of Disaster Management and Emergencies, Department of Environment and Coastal Resources, Department of Maritime Shipping, Environmental Health Department, National Security Secretariat. Following finalization of the recovery plan in consultation with leads, the public will be made aware of the arrangements and necessary protocols. Members of the public are urged to report all sightings of potential space debris by sending details to nationalsecurity@government.tc. That's pretty much it we read from the other article last week.
So let's change topics. I see there's also a news article by Bahamas whale scientists disappointed in the lack of consultation prior to the SpaceX booster landing. And I'm familiar with this whale camp. It's based in Abaco. It's a marine mammal conservation. It's a non-profit organization, and they take out students out and watch whales and different mammals, and they're concerned that it's in their path of what they do. And I guess that's reasonable, and I guess someone would meet with them. But I want to talk about NIB, and I want to talk about Grand Bahama last minutes for that. NIB said that, I just sent you an article, Aaron. NIB said the number of government agencies owe them money. And why I'm bringing this up is because NIB just increased their their costs for the Bahamian public. And when they increased their costs, they said, man, they're trying to keep NIB up and running for the benefits of Bahamians. But government agencies are not paying their bill. And not just not paying their bill. It's going on years and years and years, right? And there's no date line on when they will pay. And I'm saying, I wonder if the Bahamian people are aware that there are government agencies that are delinquent. And if they are delinquent, shouldn't we be pushing back and asking the minister responsible for these areas, what are you doing to get current with NIB?
As the first point, just direct all your questions to the Prime Minister one time.
One time.
Don't bother with the minister.
No, but-
How many ministers do we need to get embarrassed in that way?
But I want to read that for the record too, Aaron, just so and then I want to go to the Minister of Grand Bahama because I'm a little concerned about what's happening.
Agencies defaulted on multi-million NIB debts. This is Nassau Tribune, Thursday, February the 13th, 2025. The National Insurance Board has had to contend with two government agencies defaulting on multi-million dollar debts owed to it, with one still delinquent at year-end 2022.
What year that is?
End of year 2022. How can a government agency default? What does that mean? I mean, you just write them and say, we ain't got no money, we ain't paying you?
That's what default means.
Oh, you should have started with this story. I could have left. I could have been out of here.
I was saying that's what
I could have gone by my cape and my supervillain belt long time. The Social Security System's 2022 annual report tabled in Parliament yesterday revealed that the Ministry of Housing, the one who was build house and then sell it to people, the Ministry of Housing had, quote, defaulted, close quote, on a near 10-year-old loan where a balance of $5.88 million remained outstanding at the year's end, and no repayments had been made for 2 years on what was originally a $10 million facility advanced under the last Christie administration to fund construction of low-cost government homes. Quote, during 2013, the fund, standing with the Ministry of the Environment and Housing, agreed to lend up to $10 million for the Bahamas National Housing Construction Project, the annual report stated, noting that the final $300,000 drawdown occurred in 2017. Quote, the loan will be repaid from mortgages issued through lending institutions other than the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation. No principal repayments were made in 2022, and the loan is in default.
Default.
Close quotes. Nor were any payments made in 2021. So hold on. The loans, but if the government is building homes for people, aren't those homes financed through the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation?
Yeah.
So who?
Remember the fact that mortgage corporations was on default also in terms that no one's paying them. So I'm concerned about these low-cost homes.
Nobody was paying.
Nobody was paying. They're getting loans. And
No, they're getting mortgages for homes that
via
the
the mortgage
government is.
secured.
Right. And when does the mortgage start? Before they enter the home or after they enter the home?
Well, the mortgage start like a month after they enter the home. You sign the contract and then you move in, and a month afterwards you start paying. But there has to be a major default at the mortgage corporation. Subsequently, they can't pay NIB back. No money is coming in. And they're building houses still. See, this is my concern. They're still building houses. But there's clearly a disconnect. Someone needs to pay
Because the people
NIB.
showing you they can't afford the house.
Continue. I'm not sure Bahamians understanding this or appreciating what is happening.
The NIB annual report's fine print also revealed that Bahamian taxpayers, via the government, had to step into the breach and plug the hole when the Education Loan Authority defaulted on paying $15 million in bond principal that came due on August 15th, 2020.
The scholarships and bonds that we given to students, they ain't paying back either. And that's why there's late. All those people who getting bonds and scholarship, and you say, why ain't getting no money? The Ministry of Education don't have the money. They're borrowing it from NIB, and they can't pay back. There's a problem. But I'm not sure if the Bahamian people are asking questions and say, what is happening? Someone needs to give an explanation on what's going wrong.
Wow. The government, to ensure NIB and Bahamian people who are its beneficiaries are repaid, issued a promissory note to the social
Every note,
security
that's a
systems.
thing. A promissory note.
I mean, hold on. Why do you need to write me a promissory note and you already know you owe me the money? What is a
They promise to pay one day.
producer? You ain't got no supervillain music to play in the background.
They promise to pay. Just don't know when they can play. They can pay. They can just pay one day in the future. They borrowing money from NIB and they can't pay back. They defaulting again and again. And the thing is, they default, right? And then borrow more money, then default again. That's Ministry of Education and that's Ministry of Housing. But nobody's asking the question, saying, what's happening? Is there a corrective measure was going to correct it so we can say, okay, we're moving now. We already make our mistake, but we're moving forward now. We can pay peace and then borrow more, but we can pay peace. They ain't paying nothing. Continue read, man.
NIB and the Bahamian people who are its beneficiaries are repaid issued a promissory note to the Social Security System's benefit, where it would be repaid its $15 million via 5 installments of $3 million, quote, no later than September 16th, 2023, close quote. So this is a PLP government. This is a Davis administration.
Davis administration.
Some 7.529 million was left to be paid at year end 2022.
So they started paying it.
Yeah, but think about this. It's supposed to be 5 installments of $3 million.
From 22.
Some $757.529 million was left to be paid at year end. So they ain't even making full payments, like you said. Year end 2022. And because these are the latest financials to be released, it is uncertain whether that deadline has been met. But we're reading in 2025.
Yeah.
The footnotes to the 2022 annual report provide an insight into the government's well-known use of NIB as a, quote, cash cow, close quotes, to finance particular projects, while also allowing sums due to the Social Security system from other public agencies for items such as building, rent, and lease costs to receivables higher than $100 million. So hold on, is this that sentence I just read? The footnotes to the 2022 annual report provide an insight into the government's well-known use of NIB as a, quote, cash cow, close quotes, to finance particular projects, while also allowing sums due to the Social Security system from other public agencies for items such as building, rent, and lease costs to build up to receivables higher than $100 million. That means that's all just government. That ain't me. I know I owe y'all some money. I ain't gonna lie. I owe y'all some money. But you're saying the government owe up to $100 million?
This is what I want to discuss. Let's go to this caller, and I want to have you read something else too. Go ahead, caller.
Good day, Mr. Newry.
Good day, man.
Good day, Aaron.
Good day, good day.
You know my schoolmate Michael Bendada one play called Paula Tricks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all of this is Paula Tricks. You know they say when you borrow from Peter, to pay Paul. And when you say $100 million owed by the government, they're the ones who could always go borrow. When you borrow from one pocket, you take and you stick it in the next that you want. Then you come back and borrow again. It's like Trump kind of daddy fund and keep borrowing money and using money and doing sort of stuff. So that's what we basically experience, and it don't seem that way. The government getting from national insurance because one note payment that's due. They ain't worrying about that one. We need some more money, Daddy. We need some more money, Daddy, Newry. I need some more money, man, Daddy.
It's something that needs to be discussed and something that we need to push the minister to explain moving forward. Is NIB in crisis? Right? We've been asking this question for a while, but no one seems to be explaining to us how we can get out of this hole. It's like the more we dig.
And I've been in crisis because the same thing called one government. Government is government, and from one administration to the next, keep coming back to the same old, well, like you say, slush fund. You see? The song says, they're not like us.
They ain't like us.
What Michael Jackson's song say? all I want to say is that they don't really care about us. Play that song. Tell the producer play that song, yeah?
So, thank you very much, caller. I want you to read. I just sent it to you. It's something happening in Grand
You better
Bahama.
take advantage of me now before this villain everything
That's okay.
set in.
We calm you down. You remember when we went to that African Expo to Bahama? I drive you all the way out there. And then they made the announcement that we going to get one big thing in Grand Bahama, just selling African goods. And then we were a little concerned. We said, no, I said, Aaron, we getting free money. The Africans giving us free money. I want to sell African goods. And if Bahamians get the benefit from it, I say it's a plus. And then you was trying to analyze it. I said, I don't want you to analyze nothing. We getting the money from the Expo Bank, and we can get this by next year. It's about 3 years gone.
They shame you?
I ain't gonna say they shame me, but it's about a year and a odd gone by, and we haven't started constructions yet. Then we found that where they planned to build this warehouse, we didn't own. And I said, what you mean we don't own? We already signed to get the money. But I want you to read this article, because the article explains to us what is happening and why I can't buy no African products now after about a year. I want you to read that because I don't understand what is happening. But I know the building ain't built. But so I want you to read that.
So the article is entitled Outstanding Bills by Bazaar, Royal Oasis Holding Up Afro-Caribbean Marketplace. This was posted February the 14th, 2025 in the Nassau Guardian.
Who owns Royal Oasis?
I don't know.
I thought we didn't buy it.
I'm not sure. See, because after, the cruise people was like, look here, if you give us this part of the island, the little land there, we can do this in Grand Bahama. You do two things in Grand Bahama, and then the whole thing just kind of dissipated. It just fizzled out. I don't know. Here we go. Outstanding receivables left behind by the former owners of the International
Former owners. I think we bought that.
of the International Bazaar and the Royal Oasis Resort have slowed the development of the Afro-Caribbean marketplace that was announced last summer. How though? If we own it, how could them owing us money or other people money? Can you put liens on
I don't
property
know.
here in the Bahamas?
So yes, you can put liens, but I want to explain this. That's why I said I want you to read the article, because I don't understand what's
I
happening.
can start again from the beginning. Outstanding receivables left behind by the former owners of the International Bazaar and the Royal Oasis Resort have slowed the development of the Afro-Caribbean marketplace that was announced last summer. Minister for Grand Bahama, Ginger Moxie, said yesterday during her keynote address at the Grand Bahama Business Outlook. Moxie said the bill owed to the Grand Bahama Port Authority means that the development of the marketplace is delayed because those have to be settled before the government can complete its acquisition of. So we didn't actually buy it yet.
But my thing is, the port owns it, right? And saying the old owners who left Bahamas owe them money, so therefore nothing is going to be done. We ain't never get this Afro marketplace because the people here. See, that is what I'm trying
Are
to.
they pursuing the other people in court for their money?
But
Because then how would that prevent?
it doesn't make sense to me because it seems as if this project is doomed and whole if the people don't pay.
Are the former owners Bahamian or non-Bahamian?
You know, I'm Bahamians, man. Go ahead. Go finish reading it again. Because I try to understand what happened. When will we start construction? Because it seems like people absconded. They trying to catch those people to get the money. They catch. And now we can't build our African place, our African market.
What does that have to do with the sale of the property, though?
I don't know.
Like with one hand, you go after the people who owe you money, but with the other hand, you sell the property.
One would assume so. But finish reading.
Moxie said the bill owed to the Grand Bahama Port Authority means that the development of the marketplace is delayed because those receivables will have to be settled before the government can complete its acquisition of the marketplace. Guardian Business understands that the receivables are 20 years old and hadn't been paid in that time or written off.
There's a 20-year bill they trying to pursue.
But you hear what it said? It hadn't been paid in that time or written off. Okay? This leaves the ball in the court of the GBPC, not the GBPA. Tell me what is the GBPC, Grand Bahama Port Corporation?
Yeah, Grand Bahama people.
When it comes to how quickly the marketplace can be developed, if at all.
What you mean, if at all? The Africans didn't give us the money, you know? What you mean, if at all?
What you mean the Africans didn't give us some money?
They then pledged the money and say,
No, they
this
pledged it. Remember when Notre Dame burned down and then the people
Who
then
pledged?
pledged millions of dollars?
Okay.
Yeah, I just saying that happened.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Somebody sent me a text. I can't read it right now. Moxie did not say during her presentation who will be footing the bill for those outstanding receivables. The people who owe the money. What do you mean who could be footing the bill?
I think Grand Bahama Port Authority should write it off.
No, it's okay. They don't have to write it off. Pause. They don't have to write it off.
Uh-huh.
Why you suggest who will be footing the bill? Why are you asking? Moxie, why does it matter? Moxie did not say during her presentation who will be footing the bill for those outstanding receivables.
Can't be us.
It will not be us. But how you put the question to them is,
The port said they ain't letting you bill, or they ain't letting us bill.
we're not going to pay them other people debt.
So
For
we,
what?
So we can get our African place?
I think you conflating issues.
I just want to get my African place.
I think you conflating issues.
But go ahead.
I'm Bahama who's
Calling
rowing
me.
about Pokey Rowett,
Yeah.
calling to row now.
Yeah.
Quote, the acquisition of the International Bazaar and the Royal Oasis Tower and casino properties, as well as the reopening of the West Sunrise Highway, is central to this development and is currently in progress, close quote, said Moxie. Quote, purchase agreements have been made with both the Bazaar owners and Harcourt Development, and we are ready to go. Quote, our friends at the Grand Bahama Port Authority have indicated that there are long outstanding receivables of the previous owners that must be settled. Quote, this acquisition has been budgeted for in the 2024-2025 budget of the government, and we are hopeful that we can move ahead as quickly as possible for this game-changing development for our island, close quotes. I see now why you were concerned. Why did she say it like that? This acquisition has been budgeted for in the 2024-2025 budget of the government. Y'all didn't budget in those receivables, eh? Y'all don't plan on paying off them people bill, eh? Hold on. While the people in Grand Bahama still don't know who responsible for upgrading the RAN?
The RAN looks like it's never going to get upgraded. We're still trying to find money. But we know the Grand Bahama Port Authority donating the money to Doctors Hospital, but they ain't donating it to the RAN.
Is GPBA, are they owners of or in the alternate responsible for the operation?
I would have thought so, but I don't know anymore.
Quote, I can read it again. Quote, this acquisition has been budgeted for in the 2024-2025 budget of the government, and we are hopeful that we can move ahead as quickly as possible for this game-changing development for our island, close quotes. With trade between the Bahamas and Africa set to grow, Moxie called the project, quote, far-reaching, close quotes, and said its development will have multiple positive impacts on Grand Bahama when completed. The Afro-Caribbean marketplace will eventually comprise exhibition pavilions, hosting 54 African countries, 20 Caribbean countries, and 16 islands of the Bahamas, enabling them to showcase their artifacts, wares, food, and culture, and host international festivals, said Moxie. So hold on. Is this just another tourist initiative?
It's a tourist initiative. But you come to Grand Bahama to see the Africa and this diaspora, and they go buy their wares. And the Bahamas is able to showcase the Bahamas also amongst them. They give us some money to start it, or they pledge the money, but it look like we don't have access to the property anymore. And the Grand Bahama Port Authority is not turning it over, or because there's bills outstanding from the previous owners,
Who are not the government.
who are not the government but gone.
Quote, it will also feature a logistics center for trade and product distribution, she said. Grand Bahama Island will become the hub connecting Africa and the Caribbean, boosting trade and improving investment countries, which will be represented in the marketplace. Through the project preparational phase, we have been engaged with Afro-Exim Bank, the African Union, and the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, including creative industry and cultural ministers from Africa and the Caribbean regarding their involvement in the project.
Long and short, this project is not going to be done anytime soon. There's no date. And the Grand Bahama Port Authority is not allowing the government to acquire the land because of a debt, a 20-year-old debt, where they couldn't get payment for it 20 years ago. And they're still trying to obtain it now,
So
after the people have leave.
I wanted to. One of these stories I had on deck was about a man who died after his jet ski overturned. Right? It was referenced by the Minister for Energy and Transport in a most recent statement about personal responsibility in the face of the series of accidents on quote unquote on the water. And I remember people saying surrounding this story about the drowning that the individual didn't have on a life vest. When I saw the images of the body being carried across the beach, I thought the gentleman is very large. And maybe they didn't have a life vest his size. You know what happens when they don't have a life vest your size? You can't go on the water. Like that's the rule. If you don't have a life vest that can fit you, you can no longer participate in this activity. And I'm thinking about this Grand Bahama thing. What you mean y'all gone all through purchasing the thing, this whole plan, and you didn't know that the people owed the owners money for over 20 years now?
Yeah.
Was your entire goal to pay the money? I mean, in the midst of this tension between the GBPA and the Bahamas government about how much money is owed to the Bahamas, I just...
It's frustrating. But it looks like this African marketplace ain't going no place. Let's go to the caller there. Let's go, Kermit. Go ahead, caller. Call girl once. Call girl twice. Good. Thank you very much, caller. It just don't seem as if this is coming to any fruition. And those people who are vested in participating in this,
How I can buy my vibranium for my supervillain suit?
you need to go. You won't go to Africa for this.
I mean, they ain't bringing it here for me. I know that for certain. I'd have to go to Africa if I wanted.
Yeah. It's just very unfortunate. And especially this explanation is not making any sense to me in terms that the port has all of the authority and rights and can help ease the transition into this. They say, no, we can wait. No matter how long it takes, we can wait.
Who would have thought that the biggest barrier to good governance in the Bahamas is Bahamian politics?
Yeah, very unfortunate.
You got a lot of texts here, Mr.
Let's
Newry.
go through those texts as we leave.
Here's a text. Good morning, Aaron and Newry. What's the purpose of the rocket? Because all I see coming from it is smoke. Explain, please. Okay, so the rockets are taking satellites up into the sky for Starlink's network of satellites they use to provide telecommunication services. It is possible that one of their rockets is going up to the space station where the astronauts been stuck for a little while to replace them or resupply them. But if you all know all the things that be going on, you know the United States of America created an official branch of their military called Space Force, right? All right. We probably could use all $156 billion in carbon credits from the seagrass on this landing. Oh, I'm glad the Bahamas Department for Space Rocket Accidents will be on site during the landing. Mr. Newry, I can't believe these people are putting the entire country at risk, and all I hear is you be getting $1 million from a multi-billion-dollar company. No, it's also something else. Like they have negotiated up to $100,000 per landing.
Okay.
I bet you they spending more than $100,000 in a day on the key, the fancy key, where the people going to watch the thing. Good day, Miss Green. What will be your villain name? Sour Juju? I like that. Text, I like that. Here's another text. Are you seriously not giving any thought to the damage the SpaceX could cause in our pristine waters? Do you only care about the prestige or money? This is our livelihood. You don't think a mistake, explosion could hurt fish, reefs, etc.? Please look at both sides of this. We agreed to this with no consultation to our environmental experts. Another text. Wow, what was that nonsense 50 dredging on Bay Street? Question mark. You don't think that the dredging the harbor caused flooding on Bay Street, texter? And he started his contribution by saying that Negroes are naive. You don't think that some of us are naive, texter? Just called to say I believe Mr. Newry is talking plenty sense. Oh, okay.
There you go.
I understand.
There you go.
No, okay. Good. Is a local environmental firm, Braun and Associates, qualified to say whether SpaceX is safe? Braun. I forget that name. I got to go look that up. Thank you very much, texter. Thank you very much. Listen, if KB, how many Bahamian been to the moon? KB been to the moon? If y'all don't have KB on the panel, what y'all talking about? Here's another text. Our lives. May I remind the simple-minded that an EIA is just a potential predicted impact and not actually an impact assessment in real time? because time must pass a while before an impact can really be determined post-event, or project samples must measure pre and post. So you're saying what is the point of having an environmental impact assessment? What is the point of considering what environmental damage could occur before you start doing the thing that could possibly result in environmental damage? Wow. I'm getting closer and closer every minute, Newry. Our lives have become so pathetic until we deify billionaires and would let them pour their waste on us, and now our lives have no value to each other and to the billionaires. Deifying the rich won't make you rich. The rich have all the money they need, power and control the masses. Thank you, Texter. All of the texts. I'm so sorry. Good morning, Aaron and CA, jokey leaders in a jokey town. I still want to know what Aisha Bo does at NASA.
She's a tourism ambassador. Like funny, eh? Go ahead, finish reading, man.
Why we just don't negotiate to get some educational stuff for BTVI, like simulators to aid teachers. I absolutely love you guys. Newry's devil's advocate approach combined with your intelligent and insightful responses is simply the best. I wish you could extend your show for another hour. Thank you, Texter. I don't think I could take it. I don't know if the people could take it, but I take in that with me in my heart.
This
Thank
has
you
been
so much.
Guardian Radio AM with CA Newry. Thank you very much, Aaron Green. Howard Grant is next. Have a wonderful day.
Just sign in and have a seat, please. They'll call you in for your x-ray shortly.
That's why they call it a waiting room. You won't have that problem at 4th Terrace Diagnostic Center or Imaging at Grosvenor. We never schedule multiple appointments, so you'll be in and out in no time. And if your initial screening reveals a concern, our radiologist can conduct an alternative screening right then and there. Call 328-8157 to schedule an appointment at 4th Terrace Diagnostic Center or Imaging at
Better say Lampkin. Besides carrying all the roofing material needed to cover East End, Enterprises also has all the equipment needed to put it together and to protect your workers. At Enterprises, we got hand tools, power and manual, including hacksaws, hammers, mauls, wrecking bars, well, hopefully they won't need them yet, drill bits, tapes, plumb bobs, levels, and more. We got cement, concrete bond and fiber, lime, sand, and P-rock. We got dust masks, safety glasses, gloves, hard hats, and high-visibility vests. Lampkin, what we got here at Enterprises is a one-stop shop for builders.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.